This is the story of the Rwandan Genocide. It begins with the conflict between the Hutus and the Tutsis. Although they are two different ethnic groups, they are very similar. They speak the same language, live in the same areas, and follow the same traditions. But they also have their differences. They have different religions, and the Tutsis represented the upper class, but the Hutus represent the peasants. The Hutus were the majority and the Tutsis were the minority. There have been many ethnic tensions in Rwanda between the Hutus and the Tutsis in the past, but the conflict began to grow during the colonial period. The Rwandan Civil War was going on, and this was the conflict between the Hutu, led by the government, and the Rwandan Patriotic Front, the RPF, which was made of the Tutsi refugees who left to Uganda after the Hutu violence against the Tutsi. The economic situation got worse in Rwanda, and President Juvenal Habyarimana started to lose his popularity. The genocide was sparked by the death of the Rwandan president, who was a Hutu. During this time, Tutsi refugees in Uganda started to make the Rwandan Patriotic Front, the RPF, which was led by a man named Mr. Kagame. Their aim was to overthrow Habyarimana and secure the right to return to their homeland. Habyarimana's plane was shot down above the Kigali airport on April 6, 1994. A French judge blamed the current Rwandan president, Paul Kagame, for killing the last president, and this is where the genocide begins. After the death of President Juvenal Habyarimana, the chaos erupted. During this period, more than 6 men, women, and children were murdered every minute of every hour of every day. This efficiency of killing was maintained for more than 3 months. Between 250,000 and 500,000 women were raped during these 100 days of the genocide. As a result of this rape, up to 20,000 children were born from these women, and more than 67% of these women who were raped were infected with HIV and AIDS. In many cases, this resulted from a systematic and planned use of rape by HIV men as a weapon of genocide. During a 100 days period that occurred from April 7th to mid-July 1994, about 500,000 to 1 million Rwandans were killed. This was about 70% of the Tutsi population and 20% of the entire population of Rwanda. Within weeks, 800,000 men, women, and children died in the Rwandan genocide, perhaps as many as 3/4 of the Tutsi population. At the same time, thousands of Hutu were murdered because they opposed the killing campaign of the forces directing it. The Rwandan genocide came to an end when the well-organized Rwandan Patriotic Front, which was the RPF that was backed by Uganda's army, seized more territory, until July 4th, when its forces marched into the Rwandan capital, Kigali. About 2 million Hutus that were civilians and members of the genocide then fled across the border into DR Congo, which was Zaire during this period, afraid of revenge attacks by the Ugandan army and the RPF. What can you do about this genocide? How does this apply to you? You can support some of the people who have been affected by this genocide. You can donate money and give aid to people who endured the Rwandan genocide. You can donate at survivorsfund.org and savethechildren.org as well. Also, now that you are aware of this information about the Rwandan genocide, you can spread awareness on these horrific events. Thank you.